In this video, I'm going to show you the confidence secrets of extremely attractive people. I'm going to show you how you can take on this attractive energy, because that's what magnetism is. That's what attractive energy is. It's energy. It's understanding that the energy you're putting out is the reflection you are getting back. And in this video, I'm going to show you 3 things that change it all for you and will help you feel more magnetic and also have more attractive energy naturally. Now, the first confidence secret of this is understanding something called frame. Now, when you are in your own frame, you have more magnetism than when you are tuning to other people's frame. So a frame is sort of like a frame of reality is like your embodiment of your own life, and knowing that you can draw source from within, that you are on your own purpose, you live by your own values, and you live according to your own level of integrity. Now, what happens when it comes to magnetic energy is many people may be putting out needy energy. Needy energy is what repels love. Needy energy is what repels people to actually just be comfortable with you or to like you. And a lot of times what happens is when there's non-needy energy, that's what's attractive. So needy energy repels, non-needy energy is magnetic. Now, when somebody doesn't feel safe in their own frame and feels like they must tune to other people in order to get validation or approval, what ends up happening is people can feel that. And not only that, it's like an energy that's dispersing the field. Like, think of it, when you are in your own body, when you are feeling present to the moment, I promise you, that's when you're the most magnetic. That's when you will naturally feel at your most attractive self. And remember this, how you feel about you, that is being projected out. So if you were to have some level of insecurity, maybe you didn't like the way a certain thing about one of your features or something like that, and you're thinking about it and you're feeling resistance, and then you go out into public, you're literally projecting that resistance out, and people can feel that. So you might be feeling like, ooh, there's this like a zit on my forehead. Oh my God, I feel so insecure about it. I hope people don't notice. I hope people don't notice. I hope people don't notice. Then you go out and you're emanating that energy. Every little thing somebody does, they may look at your face, you're like, oh, they're looking at the zit. You start creating this story inside of yourself that then feels resistance. And then that resistance is that needy energy. It is that resistance is what is repelling the natural ability to feel safe in your own body and to accept yourself. So one of the most attractive things to do is to actually get inside of your own frame. Be inside your own self and realize that if you're seeking attention or people pleasing, then that is diffusing your own energy. For years, I was a people pleaser, seeking other people's validation or approval. And what that would end with is me, when I was, and think about this, in a weird way, this is actually very manipulative. To go into a social situation or to go on a date with somebody and to want them to be nice to them so that they give you something back in return. I'm going to be nice to this person. I'm going to be whatever way they want me to be to get their validation or approval. It's not actually authentic, because it's doing something to get something back in exchange. I'm going to be nice to get your validation or approval. And the key to magnetic energy is to pull your energy back inside of your own body and to be in your own frame of reality, to be focused on what is important to you. If you want to attract love or anything like that, what you want to do, or even friends and business partners or whatever, you want to live by your own values now and live in integrity. That's the power, because you attract that which you are putting out. And the thing is if you're, a lot of times people pleasers and empaths, they may attract narcissists. Why? The narcissist isn't a people pleaser or an empath. The narcissist also then is focused on a form of manipulation. They're manipulating other people to get their needs met, and the same thing with a lot of times if you're a nice guy or a people pleaser. So it's important to become aware of this, because then you see, wait, am I tuning to other people's frame, or am I in my own frame of reality? So you want to focus on being in your own frame of reality. Ask me, like, if you go on a date with someone and you're thinking, will they like me? I hope they like me. Do they like me? That's a very different energy than going on a date with somebody and thinking, I wonder if we have things in common. I wonder if I'm going to like this person. Very different, right? Because there's a different level of frame. And seeking the outside for frame, like sometimes, I realized for years, by the way, I would attract women into my life that wanted to control me. Or at least I believe that wanted to control me. Why? Because growing up from 7 to 15, I had the ex-stepmom in my life that was emotionally and physically abusive. But there was something weirdly familiar about that energy of control, where then after she left my life when my dad divorced her when I was 15, I would attract women that were trying to control me. Why? Because that felt safe. It did not feel safe for me to be in my own frame, so I would attract people that I had to fight for my freedom from. That would always give me frame because I felt safe in that. So becoming aware of this energy for me has been key, because by being in my own frame, it changes everything. I started asking myself, what do I want out of life? What values do I want to live by? How can I be in integrity with myself? And even one of the most powerful magnetic exercises I've ever shared on my YouTube channel is something called the frame technique. The frame technique is where you feel in your hands and in your feet, and you actually feel the separation between you and the phone that you're watching this out of, or the TV, or whatever it is. Feel the separation. I know as empaths and stuff, we want to feel connected to everybody. But the people pleaser empath thing is like feeling so connected, it's like your happiness is my happiness, I don't want to disappoint you. Instead of being in your own frame and realizing, wait, if you don't like something in some way that I am, that's your shit, not mine. If you don't like when I set boundaries, that's your shit, not mine. So it's about becoming aware of this energy. And then making a new choice about who you are and feeling safe in your own body by bringing the awareness inwards. Now, the second thing that confident people do has to do with having insecurities. And it's not that you change the insecurity or you completely resist it. It's that you accept any insecurity you have, and you actually could even feature it. There are people on Instagram that I've seen that, I forget her name, I think her name's Winnie Harlow or something like that, but she has the skin condition to where she's half white and half black, or brown, or whatever, people call the different skin colors or whatever. Because black isn't actually black, you know what I mean? But what it is she has white right here and different shades of color on her body. And some people might look at that and be like, oh, you should put makeup on that, cover that up. But in actuality, that is something that makes her different. And she's completely owned it. And because of that, it's a very different energy that she exudes. There's a level of self-acceptance there. And you can even feature your flaws. Feature your flaws. There are some people that feel like their height, for example, is a flaw. There's something wrong with me. And if you feel, oh, I'm too tall or I'm too short, and you're walking around feeling that way, well, guess what will happen? You're going to be emanating that energy off. But if you accept it, if you accept, oh, this is my height, it's not good or bad, it won't matter. So this is about being aware and accepting your own, what some other people may consider flaws, and realizing they may not be flaws at all. Feature it. And realize sometimes these things may actually make you different. When we were talking about frame a minute ago, I want to talk about holding the frame for a second, because that was the first one, in regards to a new Drake album that came out. So a new album came out from Drake, who's a rapper, and he's had music over the last 10, 15 years, and a lot of it has been he's one of the most famous rappers in the game. And I think he's an amazing musician. Now, back in the day, there's some people that have different mixed perspectives, because his old stuff they say was better, and some people don't like the new stuff, some people love the new stuff. He has his album that came out, and I guess he made it in Europe, and it has a very different vibe than all of his other albums. And one thing that happened is he's gotten a lot of flack for certain songs. And there's some people say there's only one or two good songs on the album. And it was interesting because he was asked that in an interview. And basically what he said was, it was he's so much in his own frame that I'm not required to wait. I'm just going to wait for you all to catch up. I'm going to wait for you all to catch up. Meaning that people may not appreciate the album now, but eventually they will. But that frame is very different than saying, oh, I'm sorry you guys don't like my music. Okay, maybe I should have done something a little bit different. Maybe I should have just gone back to my old stuff. He just owned it and said, you guys might come around one day. But this album is amazing. I was excited to make it, and I think it's awesome. So that's something to do with frame, because sometimes I think that when other people tell us what they think or how they, there's this tendency to like move our own frame, to like mold it to other people. You don't have to. You can live according to your own sense of reality, feel safe within your own body, and you'll realize that you feel much more confident as you do that. You can hold your own frame. They say someone in an alt that is talking to each other, if there's two people that are talking to each other and they're both maybe wanting to, whoever has the stronger frame has the stronger influence. And your frame is not something you have to, manipulate and impose upon others. That could be called narcissism or dictatorship. But instead, you just hold it. If it comes from a level of presence, it's a very powerful thing. So one thing you want to do with this is you want to understand, am I being in my own frame? Am I following my own purpose? Am I excited by my own life? Am I living according to my own values? And it's okay to be polarizing. Give yourself permission to be polarizing too. It's okay to be polarizing. Polarizing, there's people in the world that are going to love you, and there's people in the world that aren't going to like you. But the more you express the real you, the more you allow the people that would really fuck with you to see you and to meet you. And the more you repel people that wouldn't anyways. So the goal of this game is not to get everyone to like you. The goal is to find the people that want to connect with you and to repel the people that don't. You save yourself time. So reframing that as well is a confidence secret that a lot of people do that are confident or have extremely attractive energy, because they're not attached to whether you like them or not. They don't need you to like them or not, because they're not drawing their own sense of happiness from out the external. They're not trying to get you. If it's truly healthy, by the way. There are narcissists and people that manipulate. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about true confidence, because narcissists are not truly confident. They're extremely insecure, and that's why they have to manipulate other people in order to get their own needs met. Just the same way that sometimes empaths and people pleasers may be manipulating the situation to get their needs met, narcissists will do the same thing, just in a much more aggressive way. So the third confidence secret that will change everything, and I want to share this little example from this book I read because I think it's an absolute game changer, is from actually a book, I think it was called The Divine Romance by Paramahansa Yogananda, who was an enlightened person from back in the day. He wrote the book Autobiography of a Yogi, which is an amazing book, by the way. One of the, Steve Jobs was the only book, he read that book every year the last 40 years of his life, and when he died, it was the only book he put in iPads that he gave to everyone at his funeral, or something like that. And it's just a very powerful book. But basically, Paramahansa Yogananda, I was reading a book a couple nights ago, and he said that people with extremely magnetic energies, he actually said the word like magnetism, people with a lot of magnetism, you'll notice that in their eyes, you can almost see life. You can see like a spark of life inside their eyes. And he said that what you can practice is you can practice meditating, observing your thoughts, and having sweet thoughts. He said that magnetism in the eyes literally comes from having sweet thoughts and loving thoughts. So meditating on love, meditating on peace, meditating on being present, that will increase the magnetism in your eyes. Now, the other aspect of this, I think, is not even focusing on the loving thoughts, but so much as the more you release resistance in your body and in your field, the more magnetic you will be. If you're having loving thoughts and thoughts of gratitude, you are more magnetic. And there's also less resistance in your thoughts and your field and in your thoughts and in your mind. So, and I remember there's this guy that I know in Costa Rica who is actually, he's like a plant medicine, he's like a shaman. And this guy, first time I ever met him was at a life transformation place in Costa Rica. And I met him, and he had energy that was so magnetic, it was crazy. I never experienced the being around somebody, and like I remember hugging him at the end of a yahi ceremony. The next morning, I hugged him, and I felt high for hours. And I used to always think, oh, people talk about Shakti Pat, God gurus will touch you, and you just have all these aligned awakenings and stuff. I was like, yeah, whatever. Never really believed in it, but from meeting this man and feeling his presence, it was so magnetic and so impactful for me. I had the pleasure of a year or two later connecting with him and actually going to his house and hanging out with him and getting to know him. He's actually a good friend today. One thing he said, though, is for 10 or 15 years straight, all he did was meditate. He meditated. He would like just sit at his house and do meditation for like 10 hours a day for like 10 years. And he said that was the trick to his magnetic energy. But think about that, meditating on presence, becoming present, that is what is actually the most magnetic thing. And when you are doing what you love, you're in the present moment. There's no resistance. When you are being the real you and you're having fun, also very powerful, confident, like fun energy. People feel what you feel. And the name of the game with this whole thing is how can I enjoy life more? How can I be the real me more? How can I do what I'm passionate about more? How can I let go of resistance and neediness and seeking fame from other people more? And as you do all of these things, I promise you, you will notice that your energy becomes more magnetic than ever before. Now, if you really want to heal, because a lot of times our inner child felt not seen growing up, felt not heard from growing up, we felt like we had to seek other people's approval, validation growing up. One of the most powerful things you could do is an inner child meditation for healing from the inside out. And one of the meditations I have that is the most powerful meditation that I have is an inner child meditation where we go to Kauai, Hawaii energetically. We bring forth our inner child and we heal from the inside out so that we can feel validated, self-worthy from within. So if you haven't done this meditation yet, you can download it. It's completely free. You can hit the link in the description box below or go to aarondowdy.com/child because it's a child meditation. Listen to this meditation. I promise you listen to it for 21 days, you'll have a profound energetic effect on your body and in your mind and your soul. And then if you haven't seen one of my most popular videos on confidence, it's the 5 confidence secrets that will make you magnetic AF. It goes much more in detail. Watch it right here. People feel what you feel about you. The energy inside of our bodies are contagious. And based on how we feel about ourselves, that energy is being emanated out and other people are responding to us based on that energy. Now,